Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Liz Eston.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Liz to like musical theater. And today, guys, I think it's only apt that Elizabeth Eston is with us here today. It's not just serendipitous because, sometimes that's just the way it works out, but all because this is our March Madness winner for films to cover in April. And who did all of our March Madness breakdowns? It was Elizabeth Eston. So thank you, Liz. That was a lot of fun. But Andrew, how are you doing today?
Well, it's raining out, and I am very happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy too. I think I might just go sing in the rain. Do you think that's a good idea? Do we think that might be a...
Just don't let any police officers see you. You know it is illegal to dance in puddles.
Yeah, it is. I don't know where this bit is going, Andrew.
It's in the song. The cop walks up to him and tells him to stop.
Beats him to death.
Then beats him to death.
In case you haven't picked up on it, this week we are talking about the classic film Singin' in the Rain. Cue the music for it.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love.
Singin' in the Rain is a musical written by Adolph Green and Betty Comden with music and lyrics by Nacio Herb Brown and Arthur Freed. Forgive the mispronunciations. But it also, if we're including all the songwriters, we should include Roger Eden's Comden and Green for Moses Supposes, Al Hoffman and Al Goodart for Fit as a Fiddle, and Cole Porter for Make 'Em Laugh, if we're actually going to credit him for Be a Clown, which is basically the same song. It was directed by Gene Kelly and Stanley Donen, and as described by Wikipedia, it is suggested by Singin' in the Rain, a song by Arthur Freed for the Hollywood Box Review, and it started out as a ukulele number, would you believe it? It premiered on March 27th, 1952 at Radio City Music Hall, and then went into a wide release on April 11th, 1952. The plot of Singin' in the Rain is a spoof of the turmoil that affected the movie industry in the late 1920s when movies went from sound to silent. Or, you know what? I think I had that backward. It went from silent to sound! When two silent movie stars, Don Lockwood and Lena Lamont, latest movie is made into a musical, a chorus girl is brought in to dub Lena speaking and singing. Don is on top of the world until Lena finds out. Alright, so, Andrew, what did you know about Singin' in the Rain before we covered this show?
They dance and they go singing in the rain. Singing in the rain. I know that part. That's it. So, that was all I knew.
Did the movie live up to your expectations?
It exceeded them. Far exceeded them.
Okay. Well, what?
There was more dancing than expected, and they both did it in and out of the rain.
Liz, have you seen this movie?
I have. It's been a while. Pretty sure. I think I watched it because I had to for content purposes. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, that's Andrew too.
Yeah. Different content purposes in this. But no, I did watch it, and then my mom was like, "Wasn't it great?" And I'm like, "It was a movie." But as I reflected on it, it's actually pretty good. Dancing's fun. I love, even though the first time I saw the Make 'Em Laugh scene was the Glee version, which is unfortunate for my brain.
Yeah, we're gonna bring up Glee a couple times in this.
That's a good thing I'm here.
For the folks that are fans of my Twitter, like on the Blu-ray, there's an entire hour. There's like a 30-minute making of where it's basically Debbie Reynolds like, and I was enjoyed an old Gene Kelly and learned so much, and it was such fun to make this movie, and it wasn't. It was a fucking nightmare to make. It was hell and half
for her.
But she's like, it was the joyest of joys, and we all had so much fun because, she's an old lady now. She could have the Rosie retrospective. And then the other special feature is an hour long about the impact of Singin' in the Rain. And it's mostly like, Glee is the modern Singin' in the Rain because it was a jukebox musical, and Glee is a jukebox musical. And you know what? It was very nice of Glee to bring Singin' in the Rain back into the limelight by doing a couple couple covers of their songs. Like
two. They did two.
Yeah, and then they have Matthew Morrison and the
Glee. Glee has no shame. We know this. They don't care.
Yeah.
And it was just like, Glee is so important, and it's very kind of Glee to give Singing in the Rain some attention. I'm like, this is on the Singing in the Rain Blu-ray, my guys.
Pretty sure Singing in the Rain is a bit more famous than Glee, especially now.
I feel like they thought Glee was on top of the world and impossible to kill, and now just a short, like, half-decade later, it's the most embarrassing thing on the planet.
I will say, at the time the show was airing, I watched it with my family. I was very into Glee at a 12 or so. I don't know when the show started airing, but I watched it when I was young, and Glee was everywhere. Like, everyone loved it, and I was deep in the love, and now I'm not, because I'm older and have watched it as an adult and realize it's terrible. But
I didn't watch anything embarrassing at that time. I was just
no one
binging
watched anything
Nostalgia Critic
embarrassing.
videos.
It's just a thing.
I'm sorry. You caught me off guard with that one.
We all make bad choices when we're 8, okay?
I was much more of a cinema snob fan, Andrew.
Oh, someone is a little high class for us.
Oh,
huh?
someone watched the porn videos about porns that you couldn't watch when you were 10, huh?
Yeah. I literally never watched the Cinema Snob, know nothing about him. I just threw out a name. I could have said Spoonie. Didn't watch him either.
I did. Spoonie was great.
I tried to watch Spoonie once and
Imagine
I
Spoonie in the rain.
couldn't. It'd be tragic.
It would be tragic. The movie would never get made. He promised the movie would get made, and then it wouldn't.
It wouldn't get made.
He'd be like,
"Oh man,
wow!"
Imagine if
patrons.
Spoonie mentions us on Twitter now. That would be amazing.
No. Well, I'm very interested in people that are like, oh, you know what? First episode of Musicals with Cheese. Wonder what we're going to listen to. I'm sure they'll talk mostly about the historical. And we're talking about Nostalgia Critic Spoonie and all that in the first 10 minutes.
Well, Singin' in the Rain is quintessential cheese. This is the cheesy musical.
This is what people think of when they think of musical, like with a capital M. And I get why this won. Like, everyone on the Twitter was very, like, convinced, like, yeah, Singin' in the Rain is undefeatable. And I wasn't that shocked halfway through and to see, like, yeah, there's no stopping this. Nothing can take down Singin' in the Rain. This is such an impressive feat. And as a movie, I feel like a lot of folks that don't even like musicals still love Singin' in the Rain.
I had a ton of fun with it.
What is the plot, Andrew?
So, there's two big stars of the silent movies era, Dawn Lockwood and Lena Lamont, and they go by Lockwood and Lamont, and people think that they're dating.
It's like you and me, Andrew.
Yeah, people think we're dating, it's true. Jess is kind of my beard. I don't want people to know I'm straight.
All right.
So this is why I'm here.
Oh boy. Don Lockwood is friends with this musician guy that Cosmo, and they rose through the like vaudeville circuit.
Let's talk about that opening scene for a second, real quick, because we start at the premiere of their new movie, and they're like, Dewey Cox, tell us your whole life story before you can go into this premiere. And he just talks to us, foundation all over his face, because this film was never meant to be seen in HD. And it's like, here's my whole story. I was in the war, and then I was entertaining, and then I met Lena, and then we hate each
and
other.
the joke part is that he's lying about all of it, and we see what actually happened. Yes. He's trying to make himself seem high class, but we find out that like when he talks about all the dancing and shows he was doing, it was at like pool bars and stuff, billiard halls, whatever.
Yeah, it's a very strange opening to a movie. Like, it's the one thing that feels out of place with the rest of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a bad opening.
It's a bad exposition dump.
Yeah, but I do like Fit as a Fiddle. I think that's a very fun song.
Yeah, it's very brief, comes up, leaves.
And they do a little yo-yo trick with the violin.
Yep.
That's
your
great.
shit? You love yo-yos?
I'm the yo-yo man.
Yeah, as seen on our Twitter.
And, okay, yeah, so he gets mobbed by like a crowd after the premiere of his new film, which is what they were walking into when he does this exposition dump. Mm-hmm. And he ends up in this girl's car. And what was her name?
I think Kathy.
Kathy? Yeah. and she like freaks out because there's just this random guy in her car, which I mean,
understandable.
yeah, and then she like goes to a police officer, and the cop's just like, oh, that guy's famous, like whatever. And then.
But then she's like, "You're not real art. The theater is real art."
Yeah, which honestly, I don't like a lot of the stuff they do with her, but
why not?
I mean, then she shows up and she's like in a cake, and that gives Dawn free reign to just like demean her.
Well, he basically tries to sexually assault her in the car.
Well, yeah, he does absolutely, and that's very uncomfortable as well.
Yeah, there are moments here which are like,
yeah.
ew.
All of the worst parts of this movie are like, wow, this was made in the 50s.
But then you got like later, like it's like so brief that when you leave it, you're not thinking about that in the movie anymore. Like there's a little bit of blackface, but it just passes by so quickly, and they don't draw upon it. It's not like in the Jazz Singer where it's just like, hey, here's a whole scene.
Yeah. It'd be better. It would be a better movie if that stuff wasn't in it.
100% agreed.
What are you gonna do?
Put a content warning and say it was bad then and it's bad now, and we should have known better.
And then people on Twitter will get mad because your Muppets aren't as culturally sensitive as you thought.
What, we can't even do blackface anymore? My goodness, cancel culture gone crazy.
People are gonna think
SJW's got to this one.
I mean, we all know Kermit had his fun in the days, just like Justin Trudeau. They were at the same parties.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Well, what are we talking about?
He tries to sexually assault her in the car. She's like, "No, fuck off. I don't like you."
Yeah, but then they fall in love anyways, and it's whatever.
That's later.
Yeah.
But then she's in a cake, and then he's like, "Oh, you're not a real star. You're just this big dancer," and he slut shames her a little bit.
Yeah. There's some bad stuff in the movie.
Yeah, but the good stuff is there too.
Let's keep going though. Let's go to the better stuff. Then movies are made with sound.
What?
Yeah, and the Jazz Singer is like a big success, and the studio is like, oh my goodness, we have to make this a sound movie. One problem though, Lena Lamont, her voice is like nails on a chalkboard. Like horrible. I don't know. That's not her real voice, is it? I really hope not.
It gets more confusing. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay, but her voice is like intentionally annoying. It sounds like somebody mocking someone else. That kind of voice
sounds like this. I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It's like a Boston, New York hybrid accent. With a little pitch shift.
It's obviously meant to sound obnoxious.
Yeah, for humor.
And then they make this movie with sound, and it's horrible, for obvious reasons. And honestly, not just her voice, but also like the sound is just bad. And Don has horrible dialogue that he wrote himself.
All best actors write their own dialogue. Just ask like Nick Cage.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a big flop, and then they're like, "Dang, how do we save it?" And they're like, "Let's turn it into a musical." And they get the girl to sing. They get Kathy to sing for Lena, and they make the musical. But Lena finds out and is like, "You can't do this to me, whatever.
I'm so important. I'm not people."
So then they don't credit Kathy until the movie premiere, and then Lena goes out and they embarrass her in front of everybody, and then the movie ends.
I mean,
the whole ending is kind of like a lot of stuff happens really fast, but like that last the whole section there was like maybe the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then in between it's just like there will be one long scene where they're like, gotta dance, and that'll take up 20 minutes of your movie.
Yeah, it's definitely
dance
like
heavy.
the ending. It's a dance movie, and the ending is just kind of like, oh shoot, we have to have a plot. Hang on.
So I find the dubbing plot ironical a little bit because Debbie Reynolds was in fact, her songs were dubbed and uncredited by Betty Noyes, who sang all those songs. Not mentioned in any of the documentaries I watched. Let me just point that out.
Wait, so the plot of the movie actually happened when they made the movie?
Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
That's pretty neat. I like that.
But not to say anything wrong
Meta,
with Debbie
dude.
Reynolds. So what was your favorite dance number in the movie? Like, which dance scene where it's like, oh, my adrenaline's running?
There's a couple good ones. I think Fit as a Fiddle was a lot of fun.
But it's
and
so
I liked
quick.
it is so quick, but I like what they do with the like props. The one where they're in like the voice trainer's office
Moses
is yeah, that's like the lyrics are nonsensical, but it's a lot of fun dancing. And of course just Singing in the Rain. I mean, that's just a good
It's
one.
iconic.
Yeah,
but
like splashing around in the puddle and like it's great.
Andrew, I do need to talk to you about this.
Sure.
And this might be me returning my musical theater card.
Oh no.
I don't love this movie. I hold no love or adoration towards it. I appreciate the things that are good, but I think it's a little overhyped.
You're turning in your cheese card right now is what you're doing.
I know, and I feel like we're going to get another 1-star review saying that we're horrible misogynists because I didn't like Singing in the Rain.
Even though Singing in the Rain is
like the most
very
misogynist
misogynist.
film of all time.
Yeah.
Not the most, but
No,
It's definitely not the
not
most.
good.
I just don't particularly love this style of musical, where story stops for a song. That is just not my style of storytelling. And I don't think I fully understood what folks like Emily Clark was saying, where it's like, the song has to push the story forward, until I like saw some Gene Kelly musicals, and I'm like, oh, you could just put songs anywhere. Because, Andrew, this is a jukebox musical in the classic sense, meaning all these songs already existed in one way or another, and they just kind of wrote a script and dropped in a song where they could.
I feel like I like this better than the modern jukebox musical formula, though.
I
prefer that they don't pretend that the lyrics have to do with the plot. They're just like, yeah, no, this is just a song that exists, and they're gonna dance to it.
I just don't love it. Is the problem, and maybe this is just a me thing, but I'm just not a fan.
I think you're approaching it wrong. It's not a musical. It's like a dance show. It's like Cats.
Oh God. Yeah, and we all love Cats, right?
No, but I don't like Cats because I think Cats is boring.
And long.
And long. But this is not boring and not long. So,
Yes. Let's talk about Gene Kelly. He is one of the co-directors. He stars in this, and he is basically the choreographer of every one of these big dance numbers. How is he as an actor?
Not the best. I don't know. I didn't find him that bad, though.
I think that he's wooden, especially compared to everyone else. Debbie Reynolds is a ball of charm. Every second she's on screen is a joy. Forgive me. Colin O'Dowd, do I have the name right? Donald O'Connor. Sorry, cut that out, Brie. Donald O'Connor is very good as well. He is a ball of energy, so much fun to watch. And then Gene Kelly's just this wet blanket of just saying words.
Yeah, what it kind of feels like to me, though, is that he's there because he can dance.
Yes, and when those dance scenes start up, it's great. It is 100% wonderful.
Yeah. So again, I think that you're approaching this wrong. It's a dance show.
But when they're not dancing, there is a movie
dancicle
going on, Andrew. There is a movie going on when they aren't dancing. I hope you know.
Like barely, though.
There's enough. There's enough of a plot where I want to care about whether our leads get together and what the relationships in the plot. Will the movie go off? Will everything work out?
Can I throw it out there that I was reading it the whole time where this relationship isn't, like, real?
Okay. I get what you're saying. This has been debated in the annals of history of Singing in the Rain.
I didn't even know about this. This was my actual reading just the first time watching it.
Elaborate.
I mean, Don and, oh god, what's his name? I forgot it again. Cosmo. They don't say their names very often. I feel like Don and Cosmo are definitely dating. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Literally from the first scene. It's like the first scene, he walks up and is like, they ask Don, oh, you are in love with this woman that you're with, right? And he's like, yeah, let me tell you about my boy Cosmo. Let me not mention this girl at all that you just mentioned. And let me talk to you about my boy.
Let's think about dancing as a narrative tool here as well. That supports your opinion. No one, not even Debbie Reynolds, is on the same level as Gene Kelly and Cosmo, and Donald O'Connell. They are on that's what I meant. Donald O'Connor. That was just me slurring my words.
This is why I don't try to do that.
Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor. Because they're on a whole different level where they're just in sync and no one can even match them. No one can even try.
And all the best and biggest dance numbers are just those two.
Yeah. except one, which I love, and it's Gene Kelly and Sid Charisse, which is my favorite dance number. It does completely stop the plot, but it has its own narrative in the middle of it where I'm like, all right, I'm just watching a short film in the middle of this bigger film.
So I feel like the reading there is too clear to not be intentional.
Well,
or if it's not intentional, I don't even care.
A lot of people read it that Cosmo is kind of an Eponine, like in love with Don, but he does not love him in that way. But either way, Cosmo's definitely gay.
I don't even think I can read it that way.
Why?
Like, there's no chemistry between Don and the women.
You make a good point there.
Like, there's none. But Don and Cosmo, you're like, oh, these two, they hang out. Like, they've been together for a long time, huh?
Yeah, they spent a lot of nights alone together, I guess. That being said, I do agree with that reading. It is a fair reading. I see it. I feel like
I guess it's not textual though.
They do put a lot of like text work into like in that first party scene where you have Don showing up late because he got into Debbie Reynolds' car.
Yeah.
We introduce Cosmo chatting up a woman like they're trying to set the stage for him being painfully heterosexual, and it just doesn't read at all. I bet you don't even remember that shot.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it 100% happens, or he's just like talking up this lady, and I feel like they just had a case of the not gays. No, he ain't gay. He's talking to a lady. Look at this.
I feel like after the first scene, they probably watched it and they were like, write in the not gays. Like, you have to write that in.
Yeah,
because otherwise the reading is too obvious.
The other way that I think your reading is effective is the fact that we all know that Lena Lamont is somewhat infatuated with Mr. Lockwood. Like, she really wants to be that fiancé. And
he has no interest at all.
Yes, and Cosmo also takes every chance to insult Lena.
Yeah, and it's like, at the start of it, it's not even like Lockwood is like in love with a different woman or something.
Yeah.
He has nobody. And this Lena Lamont is like one of the most famous women just in general and is absolutely infatuated with him, and he just has zero interest, and actually the opposite, like dislikes her like heavily.
I mean, she is kind of not the best person, and I don't know if I'd enjoy that voice moaning my name.
Yeah, the voice. What the heck?
Oh, Donnie, ow!
Good lord, did I need to not hear that?
I mean, that is the alternate universe. But in this theory, where does Debbie Reynolds' character, Kathy, fit in?
She's their cool lesbian roommate.
She does not read lesbian to me. I don't know what she reads, but it isn't lesbian.
Maybe bisexual.
That feels more right. Because all I see in her is just a young Carrie Fisher, strangely enough. They have very similar face structures, because that is, they are sharing some chromosomes.
Just a few.
Yeah.
Does she and Dawn ever have like a dance number by themselves? I can't remember.
Yeah, the Lucky Stars song.
They don't dance in that one. They just awkwardly look at each other. And
what's the one?
Right?
There's like a dance number I'm trying to remember.
There's a dance number, but
no.
Cosmo's in that too.
Yeah, it's a three-way.
Oh no. Maybe Gene Kelly's bi,
Maybe we're all bi. Who knows?
I've been getting by.
I don't know. My reading
Hold on,
isn't
don't
like
move on yet. I'm 100% sure there is like a dance scene between them. Or maybe, I've watched a lot of Singing in the Rain content today. Maybe it's blurring together because of, the one where they're in the studio. They have a little dance there. It's not much, but there is a dance.
Oh yeah, that's that one
You
awkward
Were Meant
dance.
for Me. You Were Meant for Me. Yeah, they have a dance.
Oh, okay.
I forgot that scene happened.
Yeah, I only remember it because it's the La La Land scene, the scene that La La Land wishes it were. It has none of the intensity of him and Sid Charisse, though. My God.
Well, this movie is what La La Land wishes it was, I feel like.
Yeah, but
Damien Chazelle got really high and watched Singing in the Rain, was like, I'm gonna make that, but with other people. Then he
the
did.
nostalgia critic way.
Except for he hired Emma Stone instead of his friend.
No, the guy from Slipknot. Wasn't he in the wall?
He was in the wall. Yeah, he didn't sing. That was the joke.
He still
like
hasn't come out of the
SpongeBob.
wall.
Yeah, he's still in there. Doug Walker's still holding him
He's
hostage.
still in there. He's strapped.
One more brick in the Okay.
I feel like every time I'm here, Doug Walker's The Wall gets mentioned, and I feel like that's my fault.
Oh, we always mention it. We can't not. We have to cover that sometime. That's a musical.
It's definitely a musical.
Doug Walker's The Wall.
Can we do that?
Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Both.
Can we do that on?
The double episode.
Oh, we could do Pink Floyd's The Wall as an episode, and then Doug Walker's as a Patreon.
You know what?
That means I have to watch it, not you,
No,
Andrew. So.
No, I'll watch it. I'll be
Andrew
there
will
for that
watch
one.
it.
Okay, cool.
We should have
I'm
done
not the only
that
one
with
going through this pain.
We should have done that with Moulin Rouge. Now that I think about it.
We should
We
have.
can still do it. We could even get Brent in.
Oh, I don't think he'd do it, but I 100% don't think he'd do it.
He wouldn't. He's probably too embarrassed of that.
Also, I had to look up footage of that for the Tony's video that's only on Patreon because CBS sucks. And I saw Doug Walker change the thumbnail. It's really bad.
Yeah, he got rid of all the cool people and just put his stupid face.
It's
didn't
just
he?
his stupid face.
I mean, I think all of his thumbnails now are just like him with his eyes as big as possible and like
yeah.
some horrific editing on his smile or
His
something.
thumbnail for old is like half his face, half a skull, and it's like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Not to go into the nostalgia critic territory too much, but
Yes.
remember when he had like all those nice illustrated pieces and now it's just his terrifying face?
Yeah.
Well, apparently he was only paying that person like $20 per commission, and then when he did Demo Reel, you know, everyone's favorite TV show, they were like, okay, fuck you, you're not doing that anymore. And then he brought Nostalgia Critic back, and he was like, all right, you want to come back? And he's like, I would like more money if you're asking me back. They're like, no, I don't think so. So he just photoshops his face onto things now.
$20 he's paying that person. $20 for a weekly
God.
series. My God.
Yeah, but it's free exposure, you know. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's exposure.
it's
Exposure.
they get to be on thatguywiththeglasses.com, you know, the best website on the planet.
Yeah, it's great.
never
it has
be
a
an
great
embarrassment.
navigator. It didn't take me forever to find anything when I was a youngster.
That's how me and Andrew met, was the Tigwadig forums.
Amazing.
Classic.
That is such a meet cute.
That's the most
Okay.
embarrassing part of our entire canon, Andrew.
I'm not embarrassed. I embrace it fully.
How long before the Nostalgia Critic covers Singing in the Rain and he does a cover every song, like The Wall, and then there's some horrible anime porn that pops up. It's like, oh, you're trying to review the Singing in the Rain. You can't do that. I'm
He's
some
gonna do
weird
it once
anime
a
porn
year,
creature.
just because The Wall got him so much exposure that once a year.
Nostalgia Critic, watch out! This movie is so terrible, it's horrible, and it's the worst thing ever.
What are you
You're
doing
caught
here?
here in this party scene. The drink moves hands in between shots. This movie sucks.
Ding! Bad movie.
Nostalgia Critic, stop! Technically, only I'm allowed to cover musicals on the site.
Reviewer dibs.
Viewer tips.
But the best part is, like, you got Doug Walker, who's got, like, a shitty-ish cam, and he's like, what are you doing here? And then you have this, like, camera shot on a potato, audio's terrible, you got a cat roaming around the back. Critic, you can't be doing this! Butthole Critic, what are you doing here?
Butthole Critic.
Oh god.
I'm the only one that can review buttholes on this website.
Why don't we have a podcast talking about that guy with the glasses? That would be such a good podcast, too.
No one would care, Andrew.
What are you talking about? No one would care, dude. That would take off more than this does.
I think BPN would still host us. Like, okay, we have this very niche
Technically,
thing.
we talk about the Nostalgia Critic who has released multiple musicals.
Yeah,
So,
he's gonna go off Broadway soon.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, Doug Walker
Singing in the
Corner is
Rain.
now concluded.
Okay, until we bring it up again.
Okay, so what the hell is with the big fucking Broadway number that just takes over half the movie?
The
Yeah,
greatest
it's like-
movie pitch of all time.
Yeah, it's like when you're listening to a musical theater podcast, and then that guy with the glasses comes up for a bunch of
Yeah, it was metaphor. We were
That was on purpose.
Yeah, we did that
This is
intentionally.
scripted.
Yeah, see, because in the movie there's this big tangent, so then in our episode there also it's Nostalgia Critic logic. No, but for real though, how fucking long is the Broadway ballet or whatever they call it?
It has to be at least 15 minutes, if not.
Yeah,
longer.
it's like it's so long. I kept going like, is this gonna end like soon?
Yeah, but it's so much fun.
It's fun.
It's about 6
but
minutes.
honestly though, it's so much longer than any other song. It's like, wow, what is happening?
And the transition is just, it feels lazy is the thing. Like
they're just like, the beginning of the movie is gonna be this, and then they just zoom in on the screen and start playing in completely unrelated, and then it ends, and they're like, they don't even try. It ends, and the executive they were pitching it to is like, I guess I'd have to see it to like picture it, I guess, and then it just goes to the next scene, and they never mention it again.
It is the strangest thing. But I love the Sid Shreese section of it.
It's like I really like how it looks, and like the props that they use and everything, and like it's great.
Like,
but
while I agree with you, and also this is the only one I really like because it's kind of its own thing. It's just its own dumb thing in the middle of this movie. Yeah, and watching like the sets. I can't be too harsh because really all of the other songs are the same thing, just with less flimsy reasons for them to be there. Like the setups are still flimsy, they're just not as flimsy. I mean, let's talk about another song. You know, like another iconic song. They decide, they're up all night trying to figure something out, and then they decide to make it a musical, and then they're like, oh wait, it's morning. So they sing about how it's morning. Perfect.
I do that every morning. I don't know about you, but I sing a song about how it's the morning every time I wake up.
Yeah, you gotta.
Well, actually, the song
number,
is about...
That's your breakfast.
The song's not about waking up in the morning. The song is about still being awake at night.
And this song is from a Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney number, where they were just kind of, like, singing. Like, so in the Singing in the Rain Blu-ray, there is, like, a section of, like, where every one of these songs originated from, which shows why it's a jukebox musical proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because... unlike most jukebox musicals, I feel like with this one, if you didn't already know it was, at this point, the movie is so much more culturally relevant than any other thing that this is pulling songs from.
Exactly.
That it's almost not a jukebox musical anymore, because people just are like, oh yeah, that song's from Singin' in the Rain.
Imagine that. Like, if we took ABBA, and it's like, Mamma Mia. Like, oh, it's from the musical Mamma Mia. Nothing else.
Yeah, that's not an ABBA song. That's just from the musical Mamma Mia.
Or if We Will Rock You was just the title song of that musical, We Will Rock You.
And I think it doesn't work quite the same with current jukebox musicals that use songs from one artist.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't really have the same thing happen.
Well, this uses songs from mostly one artist, one songwriter.
Then I guess you just can't do it anymore because of the internet.
But let's talk about the exception right there, of sorts.
Sure.
So one of the most impressive songs in the entire movie, to me, is Make 'Em Laugh, where Donald O'Connor just owns the scene for a good couple of minutes, and it's amazing.
He really likes to fall down.
Describe that scene for us.
The premise is like, you gotta be funny or something, and there's really no premise. He just starts singing about how he wants to make people laugh, and he runs into a bunch of movie sets and like face plants a lot and falls down all the time and dances. Yeah, I think that's it. Just kind of ends too. They never even go back to what the original premise was. They just kind of end the scene.
Well, so they shot that scene over 2 days. So the first day, they get everything. He does it all in one day, does it great. Apparently something was wrong with the color timing and the focus, and the next day they bring him in and ask him to do all that shit all over again. And
oh Lord,
the stories say after doing it the second time, he had to stay in bed in the hospital for several days after shooting that sequence because he just damaged his body so badly.
He was also at the time smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day, and he had a lot of rug burn.
Well, this was back when cigarettes were good for your health, right? Before
your
they made
doctor
them bad.
would prescribe you cigarettes.
Yeah, this was before they made cigarettes bad for you.
Yeah.
Before they did that.
Here, Sonny, have a pack of cigs. It'll make you feel great.
He was quoted in the documentary attached to the Blu-ray saying, I just thought the only thing I can do to really build up this is just to kill myself on screen. And I was like, oh, okay.
It honestly, at times, it looks like he's trying.
Yeah. So I'm going to share a song with you. So we all know how the song Make It Laugh goes. Am I right?
My dad said, be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines. Are You could study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you could charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world's at your feet. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this other song written by Cole Porter.
Be a clown, be a clown. All the world loves a clown. Show 'em tricks, tell 'em jokes, and you'll only stop with top folks. Dress in huge baggy pants, and you'll ride the road to romance. A butcher or a baker, ladies never embrace. A barber for a ball would be a social disgrace. They all come to call if you can fall on your face. Be a clown, be a clown, be a clown.
That's a Cole Porter song. It's the only one that is not... That's basically the same song, am I right? Make 'em laugh and Be a Clown are the same songs. Am I wrong?
I mean, I can't hear much of a difference. I guess maybe side by side you could, but...
I can't... it's basically the same song, in my opinion.
You credit the lyricist, I guess.
Yeah. A big stretch from Be a Clown to Make 'em laugh.
Yeah, it's very different.
I mean, the writer did confess to plagiarism, so it's not like he wasn't aware. He's like, yeah, I 100% just copied Be a Clown. Yeah, totally.
That's great. It's like Hello Dolly. They have that song It Takes a Woman, which we talked about in Hello Dolly. And then in Mame, we have Meet a Little Christmas, which is It Takes a Woman, a Dainty Woman. And then in Mame, it's We Need a Little Christmas. All right, it's the same fucking song. Why do we keep doing this, guys?
Because there's only a couple songs that people like, and you just gotta keep making them.
You know what, Andrew? You and I are gonna make a musical, and we're gonna call it Papa Pia. I was cheated by you, Papa Pia.
No, it was Papa Pee Pee.
Papa Pee Pee.
Papa Pee Pee. I edited that video. I know it's Papa Pee Pee.
Oh, is it?
Papa Pee Pee.
Yeah, you said it was Papa Pee Pee, and then Andrew's like, no, Papa Pee Pee.
Andrew laughing at his own fucking joke here.
This was before you guys got drunk, too. This was just Andrew at his peak sobriety.
Well,
this was pre-Andrew wanting a bagel.
Okay.
I was at the peak of my wit at that moment, and I was like, Papa Pee Pee.
Are we ready to talk Liz's Trivia Corner? Which is her segment that she has every time she's on the show somehow.
Number 3. It's the second time you mentioned this, so I guess it's a series now.
This is our third one.
Okay.
What we got, Liz? Come on, I believe in you.
I'm trying, man. I'm doing my best. Okay.
Do we have trivia?
I went on the internet and found some.
All right, what is our trivia,
anyway,
Liz?
So the Broadway Melody section was a late addition.
Oh, shocker!
Because, big shocker, they added a random movie pitch dance sequence towards the end of production. Because there's a similar sequence in American in Paris, which had made a fuck ton of cash. So Kelly and Donen were like, let's just copy what we did before. Let's pull a Marvel and just put it in this movie. It's fine. And
is this their most honest movie then?
Apparently,
because half this movie is just about how they make the same movie over and over again, and everyone loves it.
Also, apparently Donald O'Connor was supposed to be in this, but he had a contractual obligation. He had a contract under Universal for a different movie called, and I'm not joking here, Francis the Talking Mule.
What's that
Sounds like a
about?
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
What do you think it's about, Jess?
I think that
the whole movie is described in the title.
Yeah, I'll tell you the premise of Francis the Talking Mule. It has a great poster.
Okay. Google this, kids. Francis the Talking Mule, starring
It's the
Donald
reason
O'Connor.
that Donald O'Connor couldn't be in the dancing sequence. Also, Sid Charisse is only in the sequence because Debbie Reynolds couldn't dance, so they just brought her on.
Good move. Sid Charisse is amazing. She also just gave birth after that, and she had to quickly lose weight and step into that. So Gene Kelly is a short-ish man. He's kind of a stout guy, and Sid Charisse is a very tall woman, taller than him in heels. So he arranged the dances so they're kind of always crouching and leaning around, and her legs just wrap around him during that because of how they set it up. Yeah, that's so cool.
So Francis the Talking Mule is a movie that has 6 sequels. And there's no quick summary that I can pull from Wikipedia, but the basic gist is there's a mule and he's friends with people and he can talk, and this movie is set in World War II.
So, wait. So Francis the Talking Mule has his own fucking cinematic universe.
He does. He has 6 sequels. 6 Francis sequels.
You can make
also,
6
it's a
sequels to a
well-known
movie
book.
and nobody has heard of it.
Like,
Nobody knows what this fucking thing is.
Imagine if in 60 years from now, no one knows what the Fast and Furious movies are.
Honestly, though, I believe that.
I fully believe that we'll forget what Tokyo Drift even was in like 30 years from now.
3 Fast, 5 Furious.
No,
baby.
Grandpa, there wasn't a Fast and Furious movie in Tokyo. What are you talking about?
Why
Go
would
to
they
sleep.
do that?
Family.
And that was, what's his name, who plays Groot's last word. That's
Vin
all he's
Diesel?
known as. Yeah, that's his last words, family.
No, yeah.
No, it's Francis the
Family.
Talking Mule. Francis the Talking Mule.
Does Vin Diesel's character have a name in
Vin Diesel.
Fast and Furious?
That's what I call him.
All right. So I have some more fun facts, but I'll save them for later.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Do you want any more fun facts? I can try to find some
No. We got some in our doc. We'll save those for later. But it's
Cool.
time for everyone's favorite section of our show. It's time for previews.
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
All right, guys. It's Letterboxd 1-star, 5-star. Liz against Andrew. Are we ready?
Yeah?
Well, I didn't do very good last time, so...
Hey, you could do great this time, and Andrew could move closer to his microphone this time, so it could be really, really fun.
I got the movie fresh in my mind. I know what people think of it.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Just 2 guys fucking around, ... acting a little gay, ...
5 stars.
1 star!
Bro, I wrote that review. I know I gave it 5 stars.
Well, you didn't. I'm sorry.
Andrew has like 60 burner accounts on Letterboxd, just so we can win these.
All right. Liz, you ready?
I'm ready.
How many pairs of socks do you think he went through?
5.
That is correct. All right, Andrew.
Okay.
I'm stuck at the movies due to a tornado warning.
That doesn't sound like a good experience, I guess. 1 star?
That is a 5 star.
The fuck?
All right, Liz, you ready?
Yeah.
A Clockwork Orange was on my mind the entire time.
That could go either way, depending on how weird that person is.
Exactly.
1.
That is correct. Andrew.
Yep.
They were too mean to Lena.
I mean, they were, so...
Yeah, like on some level I do agree with that. Although not at the end. More like before the end. She's 1 star?
That is correct. Andrew's on the board.
Alright.
Liz, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Irresponsible, period. Kids could watch and imitate the behavior. Do better! !
Karen, okay. Why'd you show your
Bruh.
kids this movie? It's too gay, I guess. Anyway, 1.
That is correct. Andrew!
What behavior are they gonna imitate? The dancing?
Yeah, Cosmo throwing himself into the fucking walls. I can
And
see.
smoking 4 packs a day and burning his arms on rugs.
I can see the argument.
Okay.
All right, Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
I want Sid Charisse to step all over me and crush me beneath her.
5 stars.
That was a 1 star.
How in the fuck was that a 1 star?
They were too horny to pay attention.
They were too horny for the movie.
Liz, are you ready?
I'm ready.
How much time do you think they spent determining if it was singin, S-I-N-G-I-N apostrophe, or singing with I-N-G?
5.
That is correct. Andrew.
Yep.
I don't want to say Debbie Reynolds' tears were worth it, but...
I mean, 5 stars.
That is correct. All right, Liz. Wow, I can't believe they made the first canonical polyamorous relationship in cinema in 1952.
Someone write that fan fiction, please. That'd be adorable. 5?
That is correct. Andrew, you ready?
Yeah.
God, I wish Gene Kelly was alive to choke me.
5 stars.
That is correct.
They were too horny.
They were too horny to not enjoy the movie.
Yeah. He was on screen a lot, so...
Liz, you ready?
I'm ready.
Wanted to stand up and dance.
God, it's so vague. I feel like that was written by the child of that Karen from earlier. That's why they wrote that terrible review. 5?
That was a 1. Andrew, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Gene Kelly be like, aw shit, it's wet out here, and dances for 7 minutes.
5 stars.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're actually tied now, if you'd believe it.
Boom, boom,
Liz, you ready?
boom.
I'm ready.
There is too much, dare I say, singing in the rain.
Why'd you watch it then? That's the title of the movie. 1.
All right, there that is, and Liz has won the day.
I won something.
Woo!
What'd I get?
You get to continue being on this podcast a little bit more.
Yay!
Oh, do I get to leave?
No. You're
Oh,
both,
shit.
You're both
My video editing job was on the line for that game, so I would have lost my job.
Yeah.
Singing in the rain.
On that note, how about we go into a mid-show and sing in the rain?
Yeah.
It's not raining in where I am.
Shut the fuck up!
Okay, I'll get a rain machine.
Don't let them know.
Yeah. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you, or shrill at you if you're listening to Brianna Jones. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, tell us about Patreon and what's going on there.
Patreon is where you can go if you want extra content from us or to just support us financially. We have the Patreon with Cheese podcast where you can see Jess and Liz talk about stuff. We have commentary tracks with what was our latest commentary track? We did like Cinderella. That was
one.
Oh yeah, Girl Boss Sorella. That was a really good one.
We got to do another one, Andrew. We should do a Goofy movie.
We should do a Goofy movie. That's a great one. Yeah, so we have a lot of stuff up there. We also have a lot of people supporting us right now.
Yeah. Liz, since I am dealing with some throat issues, you are going to be reading the list today.
I ask you correct me if I mess up.
I will.
Good.
Unless it's kind of funny.
No,
Then we'll just let
please
you keep
correct
going.
me. Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Leighton Ackles, Danielle Renix, Jess the Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Mina Minori. Is that spelled right in this document? Maneri. It's spelled wrong in this document.
Oh.
I don't think so.
There's an O in it.
Yeah.
It says Moneri.
Okay. I think that's how she spells her name.
Okay.
It's Moneri. Like on.
It's on?
On.
Maneri.
Moneri.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Mina Moneri.
Okay, I shouldn't be doing this.
Keep going, it's funny.
I hate this. This is embarrassing.
We do this every week, Liz. You can
Melissa
do it once.
Goldman, Leighton Ackles, Danielle Renix, Jess the Stampede. I'm restarting for take purposes. Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maneri, Brent Plack, Nathaniel Stacy Coob, Joseph Evans Greed, Carrie Ahern, Marilou Choquette, John Vinnels, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Kyle Summers, Janae C, Scoot and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Stellar, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Thespian, Ren Cullen, Rafael Martinez Salas, Robert Benjamin, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Kate McDonough, Timothy Keys, Chris Barcott, Mimu, Kiji Marie Astachio, Layla, RJ Noriega, Avon Reagan, Charlie B, Patrick Deering, Joe, Avery Brinson, Marilyn Brown, La Femme Fictionale, Bjorn Hermans, Mac the Knife, Erica S, Toriana Frazier, Sammy the Most Lopez, Liana Morton, Angela, Kaylee Blazer, Birdman69, Daniel Smith, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Shona Enders, Sophina Alley, The Omega Geek, Tori C, Katrin Evans, and Paige Pearson.
They give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you'd like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks, such as Patreon commentaries, our episodes a day earlier, even earlier, come join us over at Patreon. Alright guys, let's get back to the show. So, this score is a bit much, isn't it? I know Andrew Loves Fit is a fiddle, but I feel like we talked about that enough.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Make 'Em Laugh. Boy, we love that song. We talked about it a bit, but let's talk about the Glee version, where...
Make 'em laugh, don't you know everyone wants to laugh? Ha ha! My dad said be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines. Now you can study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you can charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world's at your feet. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
Will Schuster and
Harry
Mike
Shum
Chang.
Jr., Harry Shum Jr. is a very talented dancer. I just want to put that out there.
And he's also in Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's very funny.
He's very funny.
Yeah. So I don't remember the context of the episode. Like, they just start doing the scene and
I got you. I got you. I know the context.
What happens in the episode?
I was a former Gleek, I will admit. Okay,
Andrew's watched a few episodes. He knows the context.
Okay, so here's the premise of the episode was that Will Schuster got sick, and he was like, but then I can't teach the Glee Club. Not that he can't cover his Spanish classes. He can't teach the Glee Club. That was his main priority.
Yeah.
So he got really sick, and then he got so lucid sick, he had a weird dance dream where he was on stage with Mike, who's Harry Shum Jr.'s character, and they do the make him laugh scene.
Just entirely together.
Yeah, and then he wakes up.
One of the worst edited scenes I've ever seen in Glee, and there's a lot of them. Like, it's obvious they're doing the dance for real and that they learned the dance properly. They just shot it and edited it so fucking poorly. And if you look at how brilliantly it's edited in the film, where they do the odd cut every now and then, but they mostly just let the dance speak for itself.
I'm glad I didn't see this. Mostly because I'm glad I didn't have to watch any more Glee.
We'll get back to it one of these days once we're making millions off this podcast.
Life is good because right now I don't have to watch Glee ever.
Yeah.
Life's good. Life feels, it's like I'm happy for once, you know?
Also, the worst thing edited on Glee was that I've seen, I can remember, is from season 6, and it's a scene where Rachel Berry stands in one place, and it has so many awkward cuts, I hate it every moment.
It wasn't Let's Have a Kiki?
Oh, no, it was that. That's the worst thing on Glee. It was Let's Have a Kiki / Turkey Lurkey Time. That was a real thing they did. It was great. But the entirety of season 6 is god-awful.
Didn't they do What Does the Fox Say? Because that was like a meme.
With puppets.
There's a scene visibly where you can see Kevin McHale being really mad he's doing this, and he doesn't want to be here, and they kept it in the final cut. Like, he's talked about this openly. Like, I had a moment where I just looked and was like, I hate what I'm doing, but they kept it in the final version. Because his character's in a wheelchair, so his puppet's just sitting on his lap because he can't use it as a puppet, and he's just like, oh my god, I hate this.
Nice.
Let's talk about Good Morning a bit.
When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright.
Now the milkman's on his way, it's too late to say goodnight.
So good morning, sunbeams will soon smile through. Good morning to you and you and you and you. Good morning, we've gabbed the whole night through. Good morning to you.
Nothing could be grander than to be in Louisiana.
This song.
Let's talk about the Family Guy version.
Has Doug Walker ever sung this? I know they sung it in Shrek the Third.
Good morning, good morning.
This movie's really bad.
I like this song. Mostly just because they dance around and they sing about how it's a good morning. And I like songs about staying up really late because I like to stay up really late.
Do you really?
So I love it.
I want to talk about this sequence for a second. So Debbie Reynolds, who plays Kathy, is not a dancer. She was a gymnast, and that's mostly her background. Gene Kelly was very mean to her on the set of this film, repeatedly insulting her for a lack of dance experience and upsetting her many times. When she ran into Fred Astaire, who was in the studio, he found Reynolds crying under a piano. Upon hearing what had happened, Astaire volunteered to help her with dancing, but also said, he's right, you should be a better dancer. Yeah, he's like... Kelly later admitted that he was not kind to Debbie Reynolds and was surprised she was still willing to talk to him after the film was done. After shooting the Good Morning routine, which had taken from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. to shoot, Reynolds' feet were bleeding in her little blue shoes. Years later, she was quoted as saying that singing in the rain and childbirth were the two hardest things I ever had to do in my life.
So does that mean that the Family Guy sketch is actually a reference to that? Because in the context of that, Joe is forcing them to do the Good Morning song until they get it perfectly. In fact, Joe even screams at them during the sketch.
You know what, Andrew? I think you might be right. I think Seth MacFarlane is the most brilliant mind to ever think about parody media since Doug Walker, who we all agree is the best at parody media.
The peak of parody media was when Stewie said, ladies and gentlemen, Garth Brooks, and they cut to an extended clip of him singing.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with you, Liz. the best parody in history is when they say we're not doing the superhero shuffle, and then they do the super villain shuffle.
Super villain shuffle. Yeah. Also, that includes a commentary on dubbing because the Joker was dubbed, and they mentioned that in that episode of Demo Reels.
That's true,
Yeah.
which is another reference to Singin' in the Rain, of course.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected. This is our most chaotic episode we've probably ever
apologize.
done. And I love every second of it. I cannot wait for the angry comments. Like, what the fuck was your Singing in the Rain? We voted for this, Jess. We did a March Madness to get a Singing in the Rain episode, and this is what you give us?
You guys should have voted for a musical. He would have paid attention to it.
Yeah, Jess doesn't like Singing in the Rain.
Jess doesn't like movies.
I did pay attention to... How dare you say I didn't pay attention to this? Mr. Family Guy.
Oh, come on. All right, what song do you want to talk about next, Jess?
I think what we should talk about next is the title song, Singin' in the Rain. Really...
The Star Wars version?
No. What we should talk about is Robin Williams' cover of Singin' in the Rain from the movie Robots, where he changes the word rain to oil.
Yes, Singing in the Oil.
The oil.
That is classic.
That was a cultural
Classic
reset.
Robin Williams.
Singing in the oil. I'm singing in the oil. After all that work and toil, I'm just slipping in the oil. I know where I've been sent. I'm covered in lubricant. My life has turned around.
We joke, though, but I feel like it does say something about how culturally relevant this movie is.
You know, we were being really meta with this. In a way, like, Liz, you are doing your own dub of Brie today.
Bree's actually dubbing
I'm gonna jump off.
me right
I'm gonna
now.
jump off my roof.
We talked.
What, Ranger?
I'm gonna jump off the roof.
Why?
This is painful.
It's more painful.
What's that?
Doing the supervillain shuffle.
Okay, so Singing in the Rain.
Yes.
You have notes in here about this.
Yes. So Gene Kelly was very sick when filming this.
Did everyone just have the worst time making this fucking movie?
Movie making is really hard, Andrew.
I know, but like, why does it feel like all of the best movies, like you read about how they made them and like everyone is like dying on the set?
I feel like, I mean, you're not wrong. Wizard of Oz famously had like a curse set.
Yeah, Buddy Epson nearly died. Not Buddy Epson. Someone else nearly died.
Buddy Epson nearly
Buddy
died.
Epson nearly died, yeah.
You got it
Or
right.
was that just actually, like, these are the ones that we hear about because these are the good ones that made it? But, like, did every movie was like this? Like, even the terrible ones? Like, just movies were made like this back then?
Yeah, basically. There was hard to make a terrible movie because they all took so much work. Like, and there was so much money to be put into them, so... Like, do you know how much money this was a success financially? But in 1950s money, do you know how much it made opening weekend? Like,
no,
if you had to throw a number out, Andrew, what do you think it would be a reasonable number for a hit?
Like $1 million?
It made $90,000, and they were like, "Oh, that's big money."
Yeah, I mean, it's the 50s. Money was actually worth something back then.
Yeah. Now every fucking, like, sci-fi movie. But no, he had a fever of 103 degrees Fahrenheit. The water used in the scene caused Kelly's wool suit to shrink during filming, as you can kind of see on him. It's really tight. The common myth is that Kelly managed to perform the entire song in one take, but that's not true. It took 2 to 3 days to film it, and the rain was not mixed with milk, as it has been said as an old wives' tale, but in fact it was just rain shot from a backlight, or not rain, but water shot through a backlight, so it kind of shines more. This scene
I was thinking, this scene must have been miserable to do. Like, everything, he must have been, like, soaked at all times. Like...
I'm sure that set wasn't heated.
Yeah.
No, it had to be awful. And then he had to pretend he was having a blast too, is the thing.
Yeah. Donald O'Connor is supposed to be, in the original draft, was also in the Singing in the Rain sequence.
Mm-hmm. And in
there's that beginning part where all of them are there.
Yes, they shot that twice. Once with umbrellas, once without. And they used the with umbrellas because it's cooler.
It does look better.
Yep.
It makes a better poster, I'll tell you that.
It's a great poster.
It really does.
It's a really good poster.
But this movie's not really about singing in the rain, sadly enough. But this scene has been lampooned, as we've said many times, by Robin Williams in the movie Robots, by so many other things. You said Family Guy did it? Yeah.
I'm sure Family Guy did this.
I'll
I mean,
look it up.
Didn't Family Guy do like every musical? Like they have a reference because Seth MacFarlane is just like into
I
that.
can sing.
Yeah,
He's in the Sing franchise. So.
Yeah, because he can sing.
of course he is.
He plays a mouse.
But
Sings jazz.
Usher famously did his own recreation, like shot for shot, move for move of this scene. And he does a great job of that. This scene is iconic. And let's not forget the Glee mashup with Umbrella by Brianna.
Baby, 'cause in the dark, you can't see shiny cars. And that's when you'll need me there. With you, I'll always share. 'Cause
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds, so dark up above. I'm singing.
Let me tell you, the little
Just-
12-year-old
just
me thought that
why,
was
though?
amazing.
What?
Little 12-year-old me thought that was great.
And didn't little baby Spider-Man do like that famous mashup of it with some song? I forget what it was.
It was the original
Little
Singing in the
baby
Rain, and then
Spider-Man?
it went into Umbrella, and it revealed he was like in the Rihanna outfit,
Gotcha.
and
So-
it was a lip sync battle with Zendaya.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it recirculates on Twitter.
Yes.
because it
So
does.
this scene has become more famous than the movie itself, in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like this and Good Morning are the two most iconic numbers in the show.
Also, I can only find the Good Morning scene from Family Guy, so they have
Okay.
yet to do Singing in the Rain. But they did do a scene where they put Stewie in a Gene Kelly dance number.
Yes, I remember that. It was from Anchors Away.
Yes, that's all I got, though.
Which-
I did get to find a video of Peter singing Eye of the Tiger.
Do you want a fun fact about Anchors Away and what that inspired?
Sure.
So Paula Abdul is a big fan of Gene Kelly, and she made Opposites Attracts with that Scat Cat as a tribute to Anchors Away with Jerry for Tom and Jerry, and sent it off to Gene Kelly, and he's like, "That's great, kid." Great. And she was like, "It was really the most important time in my life for Gene Kelly to say it was okay." I'm like, "Thanks, Paula." Let's talk about the Broadway ballet just a tiny bit.
Broadway rhythm, it's got me. Everybody dance. Broadway rhythm, it's got me. Everybody dance. Out on that gay white way in each fairy cafe, orchestras play, taking your breath away.
I wish this was just its own short film, to be honest. It doesn't fit in this movie. It's so cool, though.
I mean, if you just take it out and put it on YouTube, it kind of is a short film already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Submit it
Found, like,
for
6
Oscar.
copies.
And the movie's long
Here.
enough without it.
Let me pitch this to you though.
Yeah?
Imagine you went to see like a new talkie, like they just invented movies with talking. It opens with this and then goes into some weird thing in like ancient France with like aristocrats.
Yeah, it would be the weirdest shit. I would not be able to make sense of it.
Like that's the movie that apparently they made.
I got another question here, Andrew. At the
Yeah.
end of the movie, when we reveal Lena Lamont is a fake and a fraud, and they're like, "Sing for us, Lena," and then she does it, she sings Singing in the Rain. Does that mean Singing in the Rain is a song within the world of this movie that they made?
Apparently, yes.
It's a weird choice.
Because like it's not even like a song nobody knew. It's like everybody knew it.
Yeah, why didn't they just do fucking Good Morning again? If we're gonna have a reprise.
Maybe in this universe, it's a song that, like, Dawn is always
Yeah.
singing. So they're like, Dawn, sing a song. It's like, fine, I'll sing that song you won't shut up about, Dawn.
I will say,
Well,
I
no.
do like the version used in the movie of Singing in the Rain better than the ukulele version that it originally was. I just want to state that out there.
Well, then I'm glad they improved it.
Yeah.
But you know what definitely should be an improvement?
What's that?
Andrew, what we really need for Singing in the Rain is for a gentleman from Chicago with a lot of talent to come in and write covers of every single one of the
fucking
songs.
Christ, please no.
songs, and then release it as his own and say it was a tribute, but every song is basically saying how this movie is just stupid. Once again, we need Doug Walker to put his touch on Singing in the Rain.
I completely agree, 100%. Doug Walker, please put your talent into Singing in the Rain. I want to see Doug Walker, Glee, and Seth MacFarlane like team up.
With
Doug
Robin
Walker,
Williams and robots.
Yes, they could just edit that in.
They'll just put that scene, like, in the background of the green screen, like, the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug Walker writes the songs and the lyrics. The Glee cast and Seth MacFarlane perform them.
No, Doug will want to perform them.
Yeah. How dare you?
Well,
Doug is a vanity project man at the end of the day.
Shows no, yeah. You know what we do is Doug sings all of the songs, but the cast of Glee and Seth MacFarlane are just kind of there. And there's a joke where they don't ever sing, and then at the end they do the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song.
You know what would be the funniest shit on the planet, Andrew? You know what would be the funniest fucking thing on the planet? If they have, like, this big budget. It's obvious they have this big budget. They rented these sets, and somehow Doug still films in that shitty little living room space in his fucking studio.
No, they'll be on a set, but he'll insist on putting, like, a tiny green screen behind them just so he feels at home.
I can't do this. I need the green screen.
It takes up like this much of the wall. It's like this big, and the green screen's like this big. It's like
I hired I hired a YouTube animator to put Five Nights at Freddy's characters in.
And then they somehow, he like only, like they have the money for as many costumes as they want. He still insists on using the Party USA ones.
Yep.
He's wearing the same suit he does every Halloween for some reason.
Yeah. I think we got a hit here, guys.
We've got a hit on our hands, fellas. This would blow up on YouTube.
Yeah.
What's the thumbnail? What's the thumbnail?
It would be Doug's face. Are you fucking stupid?
It's Doug's face with like his smile widened like 50%, and there's an umbrella behind him.
And we're just
like
all wondering what's
poster.
this have to do with Singing in the Rain.
He's reviewing the movie.
Not to be anything, but Doug Walker apparently is reviewing Lilo and Stitch this week, and he edited him to look like a fucking alien, and it's terrifying.
Amazing.
Thanks, Twitter. I want to make it clear we don't like Doug Walker here.
Yeah, we don't like him.
Fuck Doug Walker.
He's an asshole.
I love that demo reel never died, though.
In our hearts.
He never actually ended demo reel. He just renamed it Nostalgia Critic.
I just love that Bree's gonna get these audio files and just be like, "What do you expect me to do with this?"
Bree, I'm so sorry.
There's a second episode in here where we just talk about Doug Walker.
Bree, I'm so sorry. I should have stopped them.
You know what my dream situation would be, Andrew? I want someone to edit a compilation of every time we talk about Doug Walker. Liz, you might have to do that one day.
Oh, God.
I think there's a gold mine to be had.
Oh, God.
Nightmare scenario. We make an episode just the only people who can watch it is us.
Can I make a compilation of Andrew just, like, loving Joseph Made Technicolor Dreamcoat instead? I already made a quarter of that, and that sounds more fun.
Well, we are covering that again sometime this summer. On that note, guys, what is your overall thoughts on Singing in the Rain and your cheese ratings?
I like Singing in the Rain. I thought it was really good. There's some stuff in there that is like kind of cringy, but you know, it's the 50s, and if you don't want to see that, maybe just don't watch this one. But if you can tolerate 1950s mega cringe, and push past that, you can enjoy some very good dancing, and some fun songs. The story doesn't make very much sense. It isn't told very well, but the dancing is. That's all I have to say. Go watch it. It's good. And as a cheese rating, I'm going to give it Hollywood cheesecake, which is cheesecake with a lot of cream cheese in it, apparently. But it's Hollywood, so there you go.
All right, Liz, what about you?
I'm reading your discussion, right, too?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay. Singing in the Rain's great. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the dance numbers are fantastic. The story is a little questionable. It's a little gross how they treat women, a good chunk of the movie. And the world's longest movie pitch is only funny when I imagine Gene Kelly just talking about what happens during the Broadway melody number in real life.
And then she's got her legs, and they're all out, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go dance with her.
Yeah, that makes it seem a lot better. But yeah, I enjoyed it. You guys had a great discussion, as usual, including the Doug Walker, which, you know, may or may not make most of this episode. We'll see.
The Doug Walker.
Yeah, we don't listen to Andrew. This is a fun movie. It's a classic, and it makes you happy. So I'm gonna give it Annie's white cheddar and shells mac and cheese. It's not perfect, but it's always makes you happy and hits the spot.
That's fair. I don't love this movie. I know a lot of people do, and I get it. I respect it. I think I love this movie in the form of watching clips of it on YouTube. Like, I will rewatch a lot of clips of this individually, but as a whole, it doesn't quite hit me in the same spaces that things like The Wizard of Oz do, which comes from in the same ilk, or even some other Gene Kelly musicals, American in Paris and such. So I feel like the negative Nelly here when I just say this just isn't for me. That doesn't mean I don't love it. Just not for me. So the only cheese rating I really want to give this, and I think it's really effective that I give it this one because it really is the only one cheese, is a thing called Lena cheese. It's a pipe cheese snack. And I love Lena Lamont. I don't think I talked about how much I love her as a comedy character, but she's great.
Lena cheese.
It's a little sad
like
when she just kind of
fake
becomes evil
Cheetos
at the
from
end.
30 Rock that gave Liz Lemon like terrible stomach illness.
Are they really?
They look like them.
On that note, guys, fuck, Andrew, say what you said again, like, because I was curious where you were going with that.
Oh, I was just saying it's a little sad when Lena Lamont just kind of becomes the bad guy at the very end.
So in the documentary on the Blu-ray of Singin' in the Rain, they interview just two random screenwriters that are like, Lena's story, she just goes back to her room probably and she just takes a handful of pills and kills herself. And
What?
What the
I know, and I'm like, this is on the G.
That's my headcanon.
This is my fan fiction about Lena Lamont.
That was one thing, and he's like, or she just throws herself in the building. Either way, she's dying that night. Like,
Jesus Christ!
I swear to God. I swear to fuck, her career's over. She has no future.
That movie ends with people kissing in front of a billboard and someone eventually dying off screen.
There's like a Jesus Christ Superstar story going on here.
There's something happening.
Can we get that scene?
You know what? We do need a twisted version of Singin' in the Rain from Lena's point of view. What's wrong with my voice?
She sounds like completely normal, but like everyone keeps saying that she sounds horrible.
Stop talking.
Lena, you're the worst. What did I do?
Lena, you can't act. You can't talk. You can't be in talkies.
Lena, here's some pills for you. I hope they won't come in handy later.
They're called Judy Garland pills. I mean regular pills. We're not trying to homage anything. What?
Yeah, it's like how Doug Walker tried to homage the actress that played the Mrs. Brisby in The Secret of Nim in her suicide.
Also, I'm pretty
in
sure...
Demo Reel.
Do you only know this because you watched it real? You watched Lady Emily's video about Demo Reel.
Yeah, that is it. I've never watched an episode of Demo Reel because I love myself.
Exactly.
I feel like I didn't even watch Demo Reel when it was like airing.
Why would you?
And I did watch Nostalgia Critic around that time, so it was like
why
weird.
would anyone do that? Why you love yourself, Andrew?
You saw the trailer for the greatest show the internet has to offer, and you just chose not to watch it.
Yeah, Andrew. It was Doug Walker's cinematic opus.
No, the magnum opus is The Wall.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, that is his legacy.
The Wall?
Yeah.
It is, though.
I think The Wall is the most famous he'll ever be.
Exactly. I've never seen people talk about him more than when that came out.
Unless he somehow does something even worse.
What if that
Tommy?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's a real pain.
No, because people don't care as much about Tommy.
That's true.
Like, The Wall is like an actual, like, people consider it like a masterpiece, where Tommy is like, whatever.
Alright. What if Lin-Manuel Miranda's like, I'm doing another musical? The only
Wait a second. Doug Walker Hamilton.
I am not throwing away my shot!
Was that Casper?
Yeah. No. Would it be Mati?
Mati died in Suburban Nights. Don't you remember from those hours of movies you watched when you were 11 and you embarrassed yourself?
I'm enjoying that someone that's
Mati
just like...
died?
On that note, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for enjoying our Doug Walker podcast featuring Singin' in the Rain.
I'm just so...
Dude, why don't we have a Doug Walker podcast? What the fuck?
You know what? If we get enough requests...
We gotta at least do an episode. Just that guy with the glasses episode where we just go.
Thank you guys for listening. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals. We're on Patreon, Musicals with Cheese. Instagram, Musicals with Cheese. YouTube page, Musicals with Cheese. We have a Patreon-only podcast called Patreon with Cheese with me and Liz. We're talking about Tangled.
Yeah!
Please email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com with all of your comments about, I thought you were going to talk about Singin' in the Rain, not Doug Walker. Doug Walker wrote that email. Our title card is created by Jolene Casco. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. This show is produced and hopefully edited down significantly by Brianna Jones. Our theme songs were created by Robin Nash of IOU Music UK. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for not talking about Singing in the Rain enough. All right, guys. Anything else we got to talk about?
Bree, you're an angel.
Bree, you're an angel. We love you so much. Sorry you couldn't make it tonight. All right. We'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese. Good morning, good morning. It's great to masturbate. Good morning, good morning
Really?
to you.